Hello, this is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today I'm talking about Terry Moore's Strangers in Paradise. This is a strange comic for me to like, since I'm mostly like into superheroes and adventure and stuff like that. I remember buying a back issue when I was visiting Seattle, visiting a friend, and my friend's wife goes, "Is this comic for lesbians?" And I just started laughing. I was like, lesbians are allowed to buy it too. It was my answer. And she just laughed. But anyway, she was looking through the comic and didn't understand. She liked it, but she didn't understand why somebody like me would like it. So there you go. I'm a bizarre person. So this is Antarctic Press. This is November 1993, Strangers in Paradise, issue 1 of 3. Okay? And Terry Moore is the uh, artist and author, and he owns this comic. This is his. I think there's like option for a movie, and it's all his. I got to admire. He was offered money to go to other he actually went to Image Studios for a while, but he founded Abstract Studios, which publishes him and him alone. And I think no, he doesn't publish anybody, but it's all for his work. So all right, let's get into it. I first heard of Terry Moore. He did a few comics for Image, artist. I don't know if my memory's playing tricks, if this was first and then he did some stuff for Image, or if he did some Image stuff first and then did this. But I bought these in back issue bins after I found out about Terry Moore. So there we go. Enough about me. So this is the first series was a 3-issue miniseries, and then I think they went to volume 1 was Antarctic Press, 3 issues, and then volume 2 is Abstract Studios, and I think that was like 15, 14, I don't know, around there issues. And then volume 3 was Image under Homage Studios. Image is kind of confusing in that they have little sub companies within Image, but it's Image Comics. I think they went 8 issues, and then he went back to Abstract Studios, and it went to 90. So what's that? 90 plus 14, that's 94 plus 3, 97 issues total. And you could get the entire Strangers in Paradise in one phone book size thick volume of everything. And for the most part, it's black and white. I think there were 2 colorized dream sequences, and those were drawn by Jim Lee, the famous Jim Lee, founder of Wildstorm Comics. I think that was just a blatant attempt to get interest and get people to buy the comics. But what are you going to get mad that Jim Lee drew and colored your comics for a couple pages? And then that was Francine dreaming of being a superhero. So here we are. What is this comic about? And first off, I have a love-hate relationship with this comic. I was just reading a synopsis of this because there were some details that I wanted to get straight, and it turns out that my memory was wrong. So I'm glad I did a modicum of research for this. This is Kachu, and this is Francine, and they are the 2 main characters. There's other characters, but this is their story, okay? And they went to high school together, and Francine always was carrying it. Kachu was, I forget her real name. It'll come to me. But she was in love with Francine, and Francine was clueless about this. And Francine was dating Freddie Femur, like a stereotypical wimpy beta male kind of guy. And she was like withholding affection from him, and he went and cheated. It's a whole big thing. I'll get into Francine later. So she hates Freddie, and she hates everybody. But she's got some reason to. She's a troubled teen. Then that's all in the past. It starts out now that they're young adults, and they meet up after not seeing each other, and they get an apartment. And I gotta say, the regular slice of life stuff is what I love the best. 2 girls getting an apartment. Her dealing with her feelings for Francine, who's straight and doesn't want to have anything. Well, that doesn't want to have anything. She just doesn't feel the same way about Francine. And then her starting to think, well, maybe I do have feelings for Francine. And that's just like typical on again, off again. I like you, I don't like you, I like you, I don't like you. Because she just wants to be, since she was a little girl, she wants to be a housewife and a mother. That's her dream. And she just wants to be with Francine. So there we go. Thus therein lies the conflict. But it doesn't end there. the more you learn about her is that she got involved with Parker Darcy. And this is more of an overview of the comic rather than this particular issue. So I'll start flipping through the comic in a minute after I get this out of the way. So Darcy Parker, excuse me. And Darcy Parker is this supervillain, is the only way to describe her. She runs this international organization of femme fatales or honeypots or whatever you want to call them. But they're basically hookers that are like espionage, and they're loyal to Darcy. So they're called Parker Girls. And Darcy Parker is one of the Big Six, this mysterious, shadowy organization that blackmails political figures throughout the world. So she's an underage lesbian hooker is the way to describe her, and she's personal consort to Darcy, the evil. I mean, there's nothing redeemable about Darcy, nothing at all. And the only good thing about her is that she's kind to her brother, and that's another bag of worms. A bag of worms, yeah, that's an expression. That's another whole big thing that I'll get into later. So they're sent on missions, and they'll go and like seduce famous people, rock stars, politicians, generals, whatever, and then hold them for ransom or get them to vote the way they want or whatever. So Darcy is worth billions. The story starts out, you kind of hint at it, but it's not a big deal for a long time, like a couple of years in the comics, and then it arises, then it goes away, and then it arises, and then it just consumes the whole comic, the Darcy Parker thing. But she runs away, finds Francine, they get a little apartment together, and it's about them picking out wallpaper and grocery shopping and talking trash about her ex-boyfriend. And I love that stuff. I don't know why, I just love that stuff. The whole intrigue about the international, I just found she might as well just build a gigantic robot, have a laser sword and fly away. Because if you're going to have all that stuff, it becomes no different than Moon Knight or James Bond or whatever. So she escapes and lives a normal life, but her past comes back to haunt her. So let's open up the comic itself. Okay. I just love Terry Moore's artwork. It's like a clean design. Here's the indicia, September 1993, bi-monthly. Okay, so this was the 3-issue series. So there's kind of a conclusion in this. Oh wow, I haven't looked at this so long. The art is like more primitive than, his art style improves and grows. So here's the main characters. This is going back to a play. Francine, they give her a costume that's too big, and she goes out on stage. And Kachu is, of course, being an imp, and go out stage. Who cares if your costume's too big? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, what if it falls down? She goes, oh, well, that would be awful, wouldn't it? And she's like all smiling, pushing her. And Francine is just too nervous to realize that Kachu is hitting on her. So she goes out on stage. Freddy gives her the prop, and she drops it, and boom, she drops her costume, and here she is standing in front of everybody, basically naked or in underwear in front of the whole school. That's like a nightmare. So now we cut to the present, and this is Freddy and Francine in bed, and he's begging, can't you do this? No, I don't want to do that. Come on, let's do it. No, I don't want to. Blah blah blah. And Francine just can't. Kachu can't sleep, so she pulls out a gun. And she does what any normal, sane person does in the morning after listening to her roommate make her boyfriend grovel for sex all night long. That's. I'll get into it now. That's my problem with Francine. She never gives an answer. She strings everybody along. She drags everybody along. She hints at things, never delivers, and oh God, like. She does it to every character in the book. To me, Francine is the villain of this book. She's supposed to be the wonderful, beautiful object of desire. She looks like Jennifer Connelly. She's this beautiful, flawless skinned girl, naive and innocent. But she's just, oh God, make a freaking decision. It's all of her lack of decision that propels all the problems in this book. And Darcy Parker is the obvious villain, and Francine is the inobvious villain. And I wrote a letter explaining that and I got dogpiled on. What do I know? So here's Kachu. I hated Kachu at first, and I actually grew to like Kachu because here she is she's obviously, the more you learn about it, she's obviously disturbed. She was taken advantage of. She was abused. And she lived a horrible life. And all she wants is normalcy. That's all she wants. She wants to have a normal life. Unfortunately, she's head over heels in love with this nut job who won't make a decision. Now, what Francine, what Katju needed to do was just be like, listen, I got to move on. You're not interested, bye. Or Francine would have to say, listen, I'm not interested in women. I don't want to string you along, goodbye. But neither one of them have the strength to do that, and that just propels all the problems in the book. So, again, she's been up listening to Francine making her boyfriend grovel, and her boyfriend's no piece of cake either. Don't get me wrong. He's not a winner either. He makes a bunch of bad decisions also. So that's one of the cool things about this guy, is nobody is perfect. There's no angels in this book, and that's kind of interesting. And that is the basis of drama. If everybody was perfect, then why read it? So that you could tell I'm getting emotional about these characters because it works. They're good, well thought out characters, and it works. If you hear this emotion in my voice because Terry Moore is a good writer, because he fleshed out these characters, because he did everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stuck with this for 97, almost 100 issues. So she finally wakes up to the alarm because she couldn't sleep because the paper thin walls, listening to Freddie and Francine beg back and forth for sex or lack of sex. So she does what any normal person does, takes out a revolver and shoots. So I was just, right then and there, I was like, I can't stand this character. It's one thing to be a disturbed, it's another thing to shoot your alarm clock. And that's supposed to be like, whoa, go girl, and I just was like, you don't do that. Look, the bullet went through the house. Who knows? Who cares if the next door neighbor's 3-year-old gets shot in the leg? Francine's powerful, independent, strong, Katju's strong, independent woman. She could fire guns in the house. So here we have Freddie, complaining. What's going on? They should have just broke up, but there would be no drama. So now Katju is just consoling her friend. Like, look, she's kissing her, making out, trying to make out with her, and Francine get a clue. So part of me thinks that Francine knows all about this and just likes all the attention. So like I said, I'm not too fond of Francine. So here's Francine in her day job being bored, and there's David. Who is David? Young, I think he's half Japanese, half white guy, and he shows up and becomes friends. Look how cool Francine. Look how cool Katju is. She's putting used tampons on the artwork. Ooh, she's edgy. She's cool. She's an empowered woman. So David is talking to her, and of course he takes it as like, you're cool, and just a nice guy. Try to strike up a conversation. Interesting commentary you made on the road and back to it's sexist crap. So therefore you get to put a used tampon on a classic work of art that's worth billions because sexist crap. I'm edgy. And then she tells him to piss off. And he's just being nice. Got problems with this character too. But then again, I got problems still. Like I said, it's a love-hate. So going off with Francine, she wins her over, and then Katju, I keep getting mixed up. And they start talking. And now Francine is doing nonsense. Who cares? So here's pinups. Surprise, it's me, Francine. Oh, this is Freddie Freemer, and she walks in on him with this other woman. So that's how she finds out that her boyfriend is cheating. So she decides to, as Bob Eubanks would say, make the whoopee, and Freddie is already with another woman. So she's humiliated. They start, she's whatever. She's reprimanding David because that's what she does. David's just the simp who just takes it all. So he's perfect for them. And she's, I feel bad for her. She's humiliated. They were a bad couple. Neither one of them, they should have broke up with each other, They're bad. So Freddie is trying to make up with it. Whatever. She's not hearing it. Don't blame her. I forget why, but also he's just like, if you put out whatever, and she's like, oh, what do you care? Man's got to do it. Let's do it right here, right in the park. So she starts undressing in the park. Kachu she's the temperamental cool girl artist, so she's painting, and what is she painting? Francine. So, I mean, Francine, are you a dope? You don't see what's going on? David, of course, he's very interested in Kachu. And Kachu is interested in Francine, and Francine is a crazy person who can't make a decision and leads everybody on. So here they are. He's actually kind of winning Kachu over. She's passed out naked in her car, and David helps. They put her in a bed, and oh, Francine, you're my world. Blah 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 blah. Freddie, you're a dead man. So she's gonna go take out Freddie. Not take him out, but beat him up. Keep in mind that in retrospect, that's like a bigger threat than it is, because you find out that she was working for like an international cartel of blackmailers and assassins and femme fatales. But at the time, you're just like, oh, what are you going to do? You know, if you reread this, you'll see. So there, that's the first issue of Strangers in Paradise. It's a love triangle. You know, Kachu loves Francine. David loves Kachu. And Francine is a crazy person who leads everybody on and can't make up a decision and causes everybody's lives to be miserable. There you go. But keep in mind, she's supposed to be the sympathetic, good person, and I can't see it that way. She, at first, was supposed to be the troubled thing. She kind of won me over later on once I learned more about her backstory, but that doesn't excuse her horrible, abhorrent behavior. So that's what I said in the fan letter. It got published. I can't remember what issue, and people just dogpiled on me. But I'm, I guess, a weirdo who thinks that adults should behave with responsibility, and there should be consequences to their actions. So we already know the other character who wasn't introduced, not for a while yet, is Darcy Parker. But David is Darcy's brother. The guy who shows up here. So that's like a big reveal. Sorry, I spoiled it. But and he's this, there's no other way to describe him. He's just this simpy, sniffing at everybody's crotch kind of character. I just never liked David. He's just like, whatever. But it turns out in his past, he was in charge of Darcy, because of Darcy's connection. He was forced to be, not forced, I don't know if he was forced, but he became like a gang leader of like a Yakuza type things at a young age, and they killed somebody, and that, to his credit, that shocked and horrified him. It was like playing a game as a little kid, and then it became real. I forget his real name, it was a Japanese name, and he took the name David after the person that he murdered, became a born-again Christian. And what I do like about the character is it's fashionable to crap on religious people, and David became a born-again Christian, and he was a good person. He tried to do the right thing. He tried to make atones for everything. I almost spoiled something that I shouldn't have spoiled, but he is good. People are fighting with him. He's like turning the other cheek, even though because of his gang affiliations and his sister, he's a good fighter. He could kick your ass. He's a good martial artist, but he's good. Like, he wins everybody over because he's trying to see the good in everything, and I do like about him. The only things I don't like about it is he takes everybody's abuse. He takes Kachu's abuse. Like, at this point, you don't know it. He's just like, I don't know. I just look at him as like a guy trying to get laid and putting up with her nonsense. But he kind of won me over. But my biggest problem with him is he murdered somebody, and he never went to jail. He never paid for it in a court of law. I forget if it was in Japan or what country it was. But yeah, okay, you feel bad. You're a born-again Christian. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And he never does that. But whatever. What do I know? So it's a good comp. You could tell by the emotion in my voice that I got invested in all these characters. It worked for its purpose. It got me to read the comp. I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know how it was resolved. And I think Terry Moore did it in a really brilliantly way, because he got me to first off spend $2.75 an issue, and I'm sure I paid more for this because it was in the back issue market, and I forget exactly when I started collecting it, so I paid a lot for some of the back issues because there was only like 300 made of this printing, and he got me to fork over all of this money for a comic book that I really enjoyed based on characters that I can't stand. I can't stand any of these characters. I don't like them. She came the closest to a character that I liked, and I still can't I wouldn't be friends with any. I would be friends with Captain America. I don't know if I'd be friends with Wolverine, but I would respect Wolverine, you know. But I would be friends with anybody in the Fantastic Four. Hell, you know, almost all the Avengers. Have them over, you know. But these, if they lived next door to me, every day when I'm putting out my garbage, I'd be like, they're my crazy neighbors. They're my crazy neighbors, you know, and I'd be nice and I'd wave. And if they wanted me to help them with something, I'd help them with something, you know, being neighborly. But they're two lunatics that drive each other crazy, and they are better off alone. But then again, that's what fuels the drama. Now, like I said, it starts out, it's mostly domestic stuff. Freddie, Francine, David. Who's David now? He's the interloper to their little paradise. Getting a job. I'm getting fired. How are we going to pay for the rent? Do you like this wallpaper? I love all that stuff. And then this high crime stuff came in, and it just really it took me out. The only way to explain it is when I went to see the Chris Nolan first Batman movie. I sat in the theater and I remembered that it was a Batman movie, and then watching Bruce Wayne go out and train and everything like that, I was totally in on it. I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. And then when he put on the Batman costume, it took me out of the movie. It was so realistic that that him putting on a Batman costume kind of pulled me out of the movie for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a superhero movie. It was so realistic. So that movie kind of suffered a little bit due to its super realism. And you know, then I got over it. I liked the movie. This, I like the realistic. I like the two girls kind of stuff. And then when it became like globe-trotting James Bond stuff, I was like, oh, come on. Just get through it already. Just get through it already. And to the point where I was just like, every issue, is this the last issue? Is this the last issue? And I just wanted to see how it ended, and I was real happy when it ended. Now, so Strangers of Paradise ended, and then Terry Moore took other characters, and what he does is he does spin-off series. He did, why can't I remember? One of the girls, she becomes like a superhero. She becomes like the first actual superhero in this world, and she has like this metallic skin, and that series was good. Then there was another one of the girls. She has post-traumatic stress disorder. She was a Marine, and she was in the Gulf War, and she's just going to become. She wants to become a mechanic and just work at it. And she saw something, and there was in the junkyard that she'd work on. They want some shady organization wants to buy the land because there's some of that metallic residue from the other series there, and so she gets drawn it. And then there's Lilith, the Lilith, the biblical or apocryphal Lilith character, stars in another series, and she has this little girl that's a serial killer, and then they all culminate in this other Rachel Rising. A girl comes back from the dead. That's right. I forgot about that series. And she was one of the she was a minor character in this story, and she comes back from the dead in that comic, and then it invokes like a supernatural. So there's like a scientific superhero story in one of the comics, and then supernatural in one of the, and this has none of that. Let me make clear, there's none of that. And then all of it gets tied together in a series called 5 Years. And basically, there's 5 years left before humanity will be wiped out because of subtle clues dropped in all of these comics. It was kind of neat. And, of course, she gets recruited as, like, some secret agent spy, you know, which I don't like because I like the grounded in earth part of this comic. But her older sisters, she has two older twin sisters that she didn't know about, that she finds out that are just, like, they're believable. They're just weightlifting, face smashing mercs, and they ex-Darcy girls, and they're totally believable as that. But she's supposed to be like 105 pounds, 4 foot nothing, you know, tiny little whatever. So anyway, 5 Years ties up all of this grand story, and I thought it did. And now there's another series called Serial, based on that little girl serial killer. I have all the issues over here in my spinner rack. I just didn't read them yet. So there you go. That's Terry Moore. I probably talked way too much, gave a little bit too many spoilers, but I don't think I ruined it for you. There's enough twists and turns in here. If you're interested in this, like I said, you could get the entire series in one gigantic omnibus. And it's a good read. Just keep in mind, it's black and white. All of the abstract stuff is black and white. That doesn't bother me. So hope you enjoyed this. I did. I recommend this. I haven't showcased any comics that I take that back. I showcased one comic that I wasn't too fond of. But for the most part, if you see it on my channel, it's something that I like. I got, no time for bad stuff anymore these days. So there you go. Enjoy. Thanks a lot. See you around. Thank you for your time. I really, really appreciate it. Bye-bye.